make a panel discussion more exciting? You knew this was going to happen. You are a panelist in a panel and it is duller than dirt. And you're like, oh my God, is there anything I can do to make it more exciting? I'm Kristen Arnold, and I'm a professional panel moderator and a leading authority on moderating panels. And I can tell you unequivocally, there are a bunch of things that you can do even as a panelist to make your panel discussions more lively and exciting. Let's find out how. Whether you're a panelist or even if you're the panel moderator, in this video, we're going to cover 10 specific techniques that you can use to make your panel more exciting and the hit of the conference. So let's dive right in. So tip number 1, get out there and mingle. Here's what drives me crazy. The moderator and the panelists all congregate at the front of the room, staying close to their chairs, talking to themselves. No, you've had plenty of opportunities to talk to each other. Get out there and mingle with the audience. Like just a starting comment of, hi, what brings you to this session? What are you looking forward to? What's your one burning question? Like care, lean in. Well, where'd you come from if it's not obvious? Like just mingle. People will go, oh, I know them. And you'll have some friends in the audience. Second thing to make it more exciting is to take a poll. Now, generally, panel moderators will take a poll maybe at the beginning, like, trying to gauge the expertise in the audience. That means that at any other time, let's say you're wondering in your head, I wonder if the audience even knows what that acronym is. Well, just lean in and go, hey, by the way, does everybody know what that acronym is? If you know that acronym, just raise your hand. Or if you know that acronym, clap your hands. That's a version of a poll. There are like a ton of different ways that you can take a poll, but that's one version. Take a poll. It amps up the energy in the audience. So if you really want to engage the audience, share an example or a story. Your mouth can move about all the stuff that you should do, but share an example or a story or something that brings that to life, right? So for example, every time you say, for example, people lean in and go, oh, okay, I'm going to get something practical here. I think you get the idea. Tell a story. Similar to the example, but tell a story. Now, here's the challenge for panelists, is that unless we've practiced the story can get pretty long-winded. And remember, time is not your friend in a panel. So if you're going to tell a story, make sure that you've practiced it a bit and you've tightened up the bits. So it's shorter than if you told it at a cocktail party, but pretty close. People have limited attention spans at a cocktail party. You can't tell them the long version, so you tell them the short version. So tell a story. So here's another technique that you can use to create a little bit more excitement. And I call it sparking conversation. In that maybe you've just shared an insight and you know that your fellow panelist, because you've done your research, has a different perspective. So you can say, Rashid, I know you have a different opinion on this. What's your take on it? Or you could just say, Rashid, what's your take on it? You could spark conversation by just leaning into your fellow panelists and saying, so what do you think? That's my opinion. What do you think? Another way to spark conversation is, you know that there's a subject matter expert in the audience, and you can call out and go, Joyce, I know you have an opinion on this. It doesn't have to be one of the panelists. Or you could incite some conversation, spark conversation with the audience and say, hey, audience, when I say the word disruption, what's the first word that comes to mind? And let the audience shout out a word. There are all kinds of different ways that you can spark conversation, even if you're not the moderator. Alrighty, so we're halfway through our list. Have you gotten a good idea? I hope you've gotten a good idea so far about how you have the ability to create some excitement. If you did, I invite you to hit that like button on this video and maybe even subscribe to this channel so that you can be informed of any of these ideas and tips as they drop. Okay, we're gonna keep going on this list. So another one, and this is my favorite, I like a lot of them are my favorites, let's just face it. But I pull them out at the right time. Having these in your back pocket is just so awesome. So one of my favorites is to nudge your neighbor. Maybe the panel has different ideas and they've talked about it a little bit, and then you look to the audience and you go, hey, why don't you nudge your neighbor? Just look at your neighbor and spend 30 seconds, 15 seconds talking about it. Now, the challenge with that is your panel moderator might go, what is she trying to hijack the panel? No. I don't think it works that way, because if the energy was flagging a little bit, the audience will thank you for kicking the energy back in gear, and so will your panel moderator. Another idea is show and tell. You remember in elementary school, you were asked to bring in a prop or something to show and tell the audience about it. Well, the same thing holds true here. The challenge is that you probably have not brought a prop with you. But if you are in the moment and you believe that you are able to show that, then you could. So for example, if I was talking about, we're talking about medical situations, and I can share a story that one of the things that saved me is I was wearing a medical alert bracelet, and thank goodness I did. This is an example of a prop, and I'm sharing it with a story. It's something I had on me that I was able to share. Now, that's a limited kind of opportunity, but maybe, for example, if you're talking fashion, or you're talking about something that could be demonstrated in the moment, then that would be appropriate. And it creates the energy in the room. Another way that you can create energy in the room is to demo your idea. So for example, one of the things that I'm constantly hearing in a panel is about the conditioning that people have that keep them frozen in the state that they're in and unable to adapt or change to the new state. And most panels are about influencing or persuading people to achieve a different reality, a different state, a new desired state. And so, I saw one panelist who went, it's kind of like this. So audience, I'm going to ask you to do something. You go ahead. You in the video audience too. I want you to fold your hands. Okay, you see how they're folded? Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want you to unfold them and refold them the opposite way. What? That's so weird. It's like we were conditioned, we're comfortable doing it one way. I'm actually pretty ambidextrous. I can do it both ways because I've done this so many times, which is your point. Once you've done it a couple of times, then you're able to be flexible. That is a demonstration of an idea. It creates a lot of energy in the room. Finally, a way to create a little excitement in the audience is to lean in and say, I have a request. People go, what? Just say, I have a request. We're having this great conversation. I know there's one thing that you can do that's going to make a huge difference. If you could do this, that would be awesome. So rather than just saying, if you do this, that would be awesome, just go, I have a request. Lean in. If you do this, that'll be awesome. So did you get some good ideas about how you as a panelist can make things more engaging and exciting? If you want more information, I suggest you go to www.powerfulpanelist.com. We've got lots of videos. We've got a book called The Powerful Panelist, how to help you be comfortable and competent in your role as a panelist. Hope to see you there.